Well, good morning, Steve.
Morning,
Um,
Simon.
I think it is just 3 years ago since we did our very first Six Simple Questions, which was yourself.
Yeah,
So it'll be good to look back and see how we've changed. Hopefully, we're as slim as we were then, and things. I know my backdrop has changed slightly, but anyway, introduce yourself, Steve.
I will do. Just on that point now, I think the only thing you'll notice if you look back on the one from 3 years ago is that I've got a bit fatter because they're definitely the same and I'm in the same place. Yeah, morning, Simon. Morning, everyone who's listening in. My name's Steve Gomes. I'm the owner of Amiga Finance, which is a commercial finance brokerage, business finance brokerage that is based in Cheadle-Hulme, just outside Stockport. And we support businesses in accessing funding of all sorts. That can be asset finance, invoice finance, business loans, tax funding. If there's a requirement for finance, thankfully from our panel of 90 odd lenders, we should be able to support the business. That's who I am, and that's what I do, Simon.
Great. Thanks, Steve. So I know you've just celebrated 5 years of Amiga, haven't you? So since you became incorporated. So where did it all begin?
Well, 5 years ago is when Amiga Finance was set up. Before that, I was a funder. So I was on the funding side of things, providing the finance out to businesses. In particular, the funder that I was working for did a lot of professions lending and tax liability funding. So that was things like VAT, corporation tax, and even the director's self-assessment. Those liabilities come up, and to ease cash flow on the businesses, rather than them pay HMRC and go, they'll spread them. Whilst I was there, I was dealing with brokers, and after 10 years of being a funder and seeing every sort of proposal come through, I thought actually it'd be quite interesting not to deal with a broker, but to deal with these businesses that sit behind it. And as you know, when you roll at the FSB and running the business network South Manchester so well, businesses are all shapes and sizes. Business owners come in all shapes and sizes. And even if you've got two businesses in the same sector, they're never the same.
No.
And that variety makes it exciting, makes it enjoyable. And you know what? If you can do a job you enjoy, as you'll know, it's most of the challenge done, isn't it?
Yeah, we always say people by people, and it's the individuals that shape the way the company is run and formed and react to things. So yeah, every single business, although they might look the same, are completely different when you get to know the actual people behind it as well. So before we started talking about a little bit of football, but what do you do outside of Amiga? What's hobbies, passions?
What keeps me busy?
Exactly.
I am engaged to Jeanette. She's my fiance. Engaged a couple of months ago, and between us in our blended family, we've got 5 kids. The youngest 2 are nearly teenagers. They will be in the next birthday, and then we've got 3 teenagers: a teenage girl and 2 teenage boys. So at the moment, there's a lot of time spent on support with GCSEs that are coming up, support with mock A-levels and university applications. So they keep me fairly busy. But I suppose my relaxation, where do I go to not worry about work and not have to deal with the kids? The garden. This last time, it hasn't changed in 3 years.
No, it hasn't. No, I remember that bit. Yes.
Yeah, it's a sanctuary. I like my garden. Whether it's simply mowing the lawn or whether it's planning where that next set of plants are going to go, it's an ability to be outside, hopefully in the sun, and just have some time and space to not have to think about the world that is constantly going around us. So that's certainly one thing. And I suppose Liverpool Football Club, we touched on it. We're in a spell at the moment. And we were talking before we went live, but how enjoyable it is for Liverpool fans and Man City fans at this point in time to be where we are.
Exactly. Yeah. Top of the tree.
Exciting as it's ever been.
Yeah. And for those who might be watching in a few months' time, City have just been knocked out of the Champions League, and Liverpool are going for the going for the final in Paris. So yes, and I know there's one or two other members who'll be enjoying that fact. That's all part of the business network, isn't it? We enjoy ourselves, and we know everybody, each other's passions and things, and we can have a little bit of a laugh and a joke about it as well.
Yeah, I think you're dead right there. That the business network, and you know how much it's grown.
Yeah.
From that day when me and you were mistaken, taken as possibly me being the owner and what it was about. But in that time, Simon, how you and Win have grown it and where it's at now. Just in terms of the numbers, which is fabulous as a long-standing member, if you like. To see the numbers where they are, but also the dynamism in the room. It is exactly that. It is network. There's a real buzz, and there's some good business relationships and some good friendships that are in.
Yeah, definitely. Yes. Yeah. So moving on. Have you got a book you could recommend?
And the reason I laugh on this for anyone again who's watching is Simon asked me this, and I think last time round I'd said that I've got a bookcase full of books that I will at some point get to read, and I don't think I've done much in the 3 years, which is shame on me. I'm sure people are rolling their eyes now, but there is a book that I've got that I haven't opened, and indeed I blew the dust off before we came on air. I'm going to hold it up to the screen because it's a fascinating book. It's called England in Particular, and it's about all of the commonplace local vernacular. It's a bigger version of Bill Bryson's Mother Tongue. That's a great book because it talks about the differences in dialect from one side of a valley to another. Almost, we have so many different pronunciations on words. Bath and Bath, scone and scone, they're the two obvious ones, but there are thousands of these, and just understanding the roots of those words, and also the roots of some place names, the town that you live in, what's the heritage of the town name. That book there is one that, as and when I get around to reading, that's the one I'll be at first.
I will have to look at that because it's when you drive around and you notice place names very similar to each other. There's a lot in the Cotswolds, a lot in the Lake District where Furness comes into it and things like that. So that's interesting. And I did say it a little bit tongue in cheek as well, as I asked you that question. What about podcast or film? Anything you can recommend to us?
Podcasts. The one that I've listened to most recently was one that kind of was when the start of the Ukraine conflict started. It was all about Putin. It was on BBC Sounds. I think it was just called Putin. And it's a fascinating insight into where he's come from, how he's developed his political career, irrespective of the terrible situation that's going on. Just an insight into what makes him tick. It's a thoroughly interesting listen.
Right.
In terms of films, I hope I didn't say last time round Good Will Hunting, but I watched it again recently, and to me it's just it's a great film. Yeah. We'll talk about Shawshank Redemption regularly and Star Wars. These traditional top 10 films. Good Will Hunting is a.
I don't think we mentioned films last time, so so finally, have you got a word of wisdom for us?
Oh, just one. I think, you know what? I think I've realised this from moving employment and moving into self-employment, running a business, now employing staff, and which has happened since we really well. Georgia had just come on board, hadn't she? Just into lockdown. Yeah, so, exactly. And Thomas is now on board and working as well, and we continue to build and expand, which is great. But I think what comes out the back of that is that you get out what you put in. Yeah, that's it. If you put a little bit of effort in, you're going to get a little bit of reward out. If you put a lot of effort in, it will pay through, definitely. So that would be, I guess, the words of wisdom.
No, that's great, and it's the mantra I go with networking. The more you get involved, the more you put in, the more you get out of it. And it is like anything in life. That's one to go with. So no, that's great. I can't remember what you said last time. But, we'll come. Yes. I'm sure I could put this jacket. Thank you so much, Steve. It's been brilliant. Great.
My pleasure. Look forward to catching up with you next week as well.
Yeah. Okay. Cheers, Steve. Bye.
Thanks, Simon.